Hello and welcome to Scottish Football Matters with myself, Lorenzo, and my good friend Murray.
All right.
Tonight we're going to be discussing the latest goings on in Scottish football, mainly Celtic and Rangers, as there's been news this week that James Tavernier is to leave after 11 years.
Yep.
James Forrest has been given a new 1 year deal. Luke McCowan's been given a new 1 year deal. Liam Scales has been given a new 1 year deal at Celtic. And Callum McGregor says he'll stay at Celtic if the board match the ambitions that he wants at Celtic. And also, he also gave his opinion on James Tavernier at Rangers as well. How you doing, mate?
All right. They've given us a few talking points, have Celtic and Rangers this week, because
Certainly have
I thought this was just going to be a wee predictions video, but now we've got
some juicy news.
aye, and somewhat controversial because we obviously will add on the talking about Celtic's announcement tonight about the Union Bears won't.
I forgot to mention that in the intro. Yeah,
Yep,
sorry about that.
but it's fine. So I think we'll start with Tavernier because I think the rest after Tavernier is quite a lot Celtic heavy. So we'll start with Tav. And I think, personally, I think it's the right time. In fact, see if I'm being honest, I think the right time was 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. But I think the timing of the announcement is good as well in terms of we've got 5 games to play. He's probably not going to start the majority. He might start, maybe Hibs or Falkirk the last 2. But I don't see him starting against Motherwell, Hearts, or Celtic.
That will depend on. That will
always depend on
if the last 2 are meaningful. You don't know that.
Well, even still, I don't think Dujon Sterling can play 2 games in a week because he's made of glass. So,
right.
Regardless, I think if Sterling starts the next 3, Tavernier's definitely coming in for the Hibs game, the midweek one, and I'd say, depending on whether the title's on the line in the last game, will dictate who starts that one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, I've seen a lot of people talking about, is he a legend? Is he a loser? To me, his numbers speak for themselves. Whether he's a legend or an all-time great, I think the word legend is banded about too much on people that aren't legends. Like I've even heard over the last few years. I mean, like, I'll give you a good example. Like somebody like Lustig at Celtic, right, who was a good player, but because he was part of a really successful team, like treble and all that, right? I've heard of him being mentioned a legend, and to me, not a chance, right? That's not being disrespectful to the boy. I think he was a good player.
I would call him an icon.
I'd call him a great. But icon and greats are pretty similar. Aye. And I think Tavernier sits in the great mould. To me, a Rangers legend, if I'm going to say that, that's your McCoist, Greg,
Brown,
Goff, maybe Brown.
But Scott Brown? Scott, I'm not talking about John Brown.
I was going to say no.
No, I'm not talking about.
To me, Celtic, I would say the likes of Lennon, Larson,
Sutton, Hartson.
Hartson to me goes into the great category.
Right.
He didn't do it He didn't do it for a longevity.
What about Petrov? Would you call him a legend?
No, he's just a great. I think he's a fantastic. In fact, I think he's a better footballer than some of the ones we're calling greats. But that's not the debate. And to me, like, I'll give you a good example, right? Lots of people think that Paul McStay's a legend, right?
Yes, I think he is.
And I've heard lots of Rangers fans and mainly Celtic
Paul
fans.
McStay was a fantastic footballer.
No, same here, right? But I've heard lots of people say Tavernier's no a legend because he hasn't won much, right? But Paul McStay won jack shit at Celtic, but he was still the best player during a terrible period. And I think you can put some of that similarity on.
I wouldn't say he won jack shit. He won league titles in the 80s, right. And then in the 90s he won very little, obviously. But
Paul McStay won.
He started with Celtic in 1983, so.
Yeah, no, but in terms of what he actually won as a in the first team, he won 1 league title.
What, you talked 87, 88? No, he was in it. No,
he was there. No, he didn't. He wasn't there when
he won the league title in '86 in the last day against St.
Mirren. Hearts. Is that not the only one?
No, he won the centenary title. That's 2, right? 1987-88, he won that one.
He won nothing in the 90s.
He possibly won more than that. I'm trying to think, but he definitely
won
won more than
a couple
one.
of cups in the 90s. But I'm just saying, like, that's another. I think he's the same, similar to me. I mean, I think Paul McStay was an absolute class player. And
well, you know what I'll say about Paul McStay?
Well,
Paul McStay was a fantastic footballer in the wrong team at the wrong time.
But I think you can give similarities to Tavernier. Tavernier came through at Rangers when some of the managers you had, just reel them off your tongue. Murty, Warburton, Kashinya, Beale. I mean, let's be honest. If that guy
sorry for laughing, but it's a laugh.
I'm just saying, if that player had been in, I mean, look at, I'll give an example. A good example is right now, right? Tony Ralston's medal collection far outweighs James Tavernier, but his ability doesn't.
No, I know that.
His ability isn't even close.
I know that.
Tony Ralston's he's a proper hard-working team player, but he's dog shit at the end of the day, right? He's just one of those guys you need in your squad. But I just don't think a legend should be based on, how many trophies you've won. And I think a lot of people do when there've been the debate's been this week, is he a legend?
But so what you're saying is James Forrest isn't he a legend at Celtic then?
No, James Forrest. Yeah, I don't know.
He is. He is. No, for me, he is.
That's a difficult one. No. I think he's very similar in the sort of sense that
he's a legend. He's not as good as Bobby Leonard.
But he's been in a lot of good teams, but he hasn't. Has he been that good? He's been in a lot of good teams. Has he? I mean, how much has he contributed to a lot of your titles over the last 5 years? Not much. Sparingly, 5, 10, 15 games.
At the end of the day, Murray, he does a job, and he done it at the weekend again.
So I agree, but so did Tony Ralston. Tony Ralston scored a peach at the weekend, but he's still dog shit.
James Forrest, come on. No, James Forrest is a far better footballer than Tony Ralston.
I'm just saying you can say that about. I'm just saying I don't think that James Forrest has been a massive part of your last 3 titles or 4 titles that you got in a row. Is it 4? Aye, the last 4 years, right? He had not played a big part in it.
Well, what about Callum McGregor then? Would you call him a legend?
Yes, I would.
Callum McGregor.
I'd say McGregor's a legend because he wheels out 60 games a year, every year. And
he's also younger than James Forrest as well.
And so did Scott Brown. But James Forrest plays 15 games a year.
It's not James Forrest's fault. It's not James Forrest's fault.
Well, sometimes it is. He's not been fit for.
Well, it isn't his fault because what Celtic tend to do is they sign wingers for that position that turn out to be shite.
But if he was the best winger, he'd be starting.
Well, he clearly is better than the wingers we've got because he's getting in before them.
Yeah, well, he's not, though, isn't he? When's he? How many games has he started this year? 7.
Fair enough, but at the end of the day,
well, it's because he's old.
He's still there. I know, I get that as well, but he's still there and he's still in front. It looks as if he's in front of some of the wingers we've got currently in that position.
I think we're getting off topic though. I think Tavernier is somewhere between a great and a legend. I think his stats are legendary.
I wouldn't call him a legend for what he's won anyway.
No, you can't because he has been. He has been just like Paul McStay was. He has been part of really shit teams, and that isn't. He's always been the best thing in the shit team. But that doesn't But then, as I said, I grew up in the 90s and watched, players, and they were good players, good players like Dave McPherson and that. But I watched players like, Alec Cleland, Neil Murray pick up league winners medals.
Oh, here's one for you, right?
They were dog shit.
Here's one for
you. They were just part of a brilliant team.
As you know, I'm not a Rangers fan, right? But how long was Brian Laudrup at Rangers?
6 years.
6 years, was it? I don't know.
5.5, 6 years.
Would you call him a legend?
Yes, I would, but that's more down to just ability.
Right.
In terms, but...
Oh, wait a minute. Here then, what about John Brown? He was shite. So is he a legend?
He was a good player. I wouldn't put him as a legend, but I think he was a far better player than he get credit for. See, I think Tavernier's in that sort of Ian Ferguson mould, right? Where I go, he was like a really good player, but he was also in a really good team at that point. Ian Ferguson, I don't think he was ever the best player in a great team, and I think a lot of times the class around him, like Ian Durrant and McCoist and Haitley and Gough. Look, McCoist and Gough are legends. Gorham, legend, right? But to me, I put it this way: there's only 2 players in the last 20 years that I would consider legends at Rangers.
In the last 20 years?
Yeah.
And who are they?
Alan McGregor.
Right.
Barry Ferguson.
Right. I wouldn't disagree with you. I mean, I'm obviously I'm not a Rangers man, but I wouldn't disagree with you.
I can make an almost case for Stephen Davis, but I think the fact that he went away for so long, and I don't think we got his best years, if you know what I mean. We got his young years and we got his old ass years. I think if we'd had that bit in the middle, no doubt he would have been a legend. But I think, yeah, you can see the point on that one. But yeah, I think legend is banded about too much. And like as I said, I wouldn't consider Forrest, but you would, and you're more entitled to, and that's absolutely fine.
I love James Forrest. I think he's been a brilliant player for Celtic. Absolutely.
I can't even argue that.
For me, he's an unsung hero, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And there's another guy.
Obviously, legend is tough.
There's another guy that played for Celtic that didn't get enough credit, and I thought he was fucking brilliant. It was Jackie McNamara.
Yeah,
excellent.
But sometimes I think he goes in that sort of like, to me, John Brown type, Ian Ferguson type, where brilliant player, proper pro, but he was also in a team where people outshone him all the time, and he didn't really get the credit, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, and by the way, seeing that Celtic team of monsters that Martin O'Neill built, McNamara was a quality player in there. I mean, if it wasn't for McNamara, Petrov and Larsson, that team would have just been absolute monsters, just launching it forward, and not a lot of skill. But they were brilliant. Like
what I'll say as well, in terms of cult heroes, I think Bobby Petter's a cult hero at Celtic.
Yeah,
cult figure.
He was a bit shit though.
But he
was good because he ripped the living shit out of Ricks in one game.
He's obviously, but he's a cult figure, right? Because of that, and plus, I just think he was all right. He was all round. He was an all round all right player.
So Reggie Blinker's a cult hero at us because he was so bad.
Right, Reggie Blinker, right? Well, Andy Halliday's a cult hero at Celtic because
he wasn't as bad as people go on though. Again, another one like Tav in a proper shit team, wasn't he?
He really was. But you get your cult heroes. I mean, I would class Maravchik as a legend, but a lot of people would say he's a cult figure.
No, I'd say he was brilliant. I mean, he was just
he was class. He was a class player. Class.
Aye. But you get players like Ronald De Boer to me is in that category. Absolute class, but I wouldn't consider him a legend. He was a joy to watch, and it was a shame that he only had one knee. Like I always think, imagine how good you'd be if he had 2 knees.
Aye, well.
And you get other ones like Arthur Newman for me was an absolute Rolls Royce, but a legend, no, not for me. Because he was also in a team that was the richest team in the country, and he probably got paid more than. I mean, I know Celtic have had similar things in that recently, but you're like, well, you know, I think legend. It is banded about too much.
That's, I mean, legend for me. Jimmy Johnson, Kenny Dalglish, players of that, the Lisbon Lions, obviously, all of them. But I would say Paul McStay, obviously, Tommy Burns, you know, guys like that.
But I think back onto Tavernier, I think if we focus on 144 goals, 140.
Wait a minute.
I don't care.
How many of them are penalties?
Actually, no, I watched it the other day. 72.
72 right? Penalties? Yeah. My God,
Which, by the way, I don't think it's as much as I thought it was.
72 penalties, but
see the amount of free kicks. The amount of free kicks. But like,
fair enough, he could take a free kick, but I mean,
his free kicks were outstanding.
See when he was at Rangers at first, maybe not so much now, but at Rangers you were guaranteed a penalty pretty much every week.
I know, but what I would say though is also the stat that I think goes unnoticed is 148 assists. That's incredible.
Right.
When you look at that, that's averaging 14, 15 assists a year. Which, by the way, most wingers at Celtic and Rangers haven't done in that whole time. You look at good players like Nicholas Coonwright, good player, right? I think at best he got 11 assists. So again, a right back is out. I'm just saying, like, and I'm not picking on Nicholas Coonwright. I'll pick Rangers players, and I go like, everyone loved Daniel Candeas for a wee while, but the guy didn't get half of the assists that that James Tavernier got.
Well, Nicholas Kuhn was only good for about half a season.
I know.
And I'm a Celtic fan, obviously. So
No, he was. But what I'd say is, like, I don't think Tavernier will get the credit he deserves until he's left Rangers, and then we get the next right back in who, by the way, might be able to defend better. But
do you know what?
They won't be providing those numbers.
I'll second that with James Forrest. So there's a lot of people that weren't happy that James Forrest signed a new contract. I was, obviously, because I think the guy's an absolute brilliant player, and he's a lot of service to Celtic.
He's a good
and
guy.
I think a lot of people won't realise how good he was until he's no longer there.
And I also think I think most people expect that Celtic are going to have a bit of a transition over the summer. A lot of people in, a lot of people. So you do need people like James Forrest to, teach new signings about the standards.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think that's probably why Tavernier has been kept around maybe for the last couple of years. But I think now he's got an opportunity probably to go to either Dubai, America, or Cyprus, or wherever he goes, right? Go and enjoy some hot weather. Go and enjoy your money. And the guy's been
He's not retiring, is he? Is he going to another club?
No, definitely. He said he's got 4 more years in him.
Wait,
by the way, he's about to turn 34.
Oh, so he thinks he can play till he's 38?
Well, he's a guy that's never been really injured.
I suppose, aye.
And I just think that, why not? And by the way, he might end up going towards a centre-back role in a certain league. Like if he was playing in a dog shit league, I mean a league worse than this.
He'll not be playing in the Premier League in England.
No, I don't think he'll go down south.
He
wouldn't get any higher in the Championship.
Do you think he'll go to Saudi then?
I think Saudi. I think
America.
I still think there's a chance he goes to that Aris Limassol over in Cyprus where Goldson is, and I think Goldson, Balogun, McCausland, and Fotheringhams all over there. So maybe there's something in the stars for him to go there. But at the end of the day, right, the guy he's done brilliant, and I'm happy with the timing of it, because I think now, not that the players need any more motivation to win the next 5 games, but if they can have him go out as a winner, I mean, I know it's all ifs and buts, right? And we don't know if that's going to happen, but if it did happen though, I think he would deserve it in terms of his overall, because let's be honest, as we said earlier, it's not his fault that he's been the best thing in a shit team. And maybe it would be fitting for him to end his career where the other people did the work and got him the medal, if you get what I mean. Like, because he's done a lot of the work to probably deserve him more medals, and the other people have let him down.
What I'll say is, as a Celtic fan, to us he's captain loser, captain disappointed, and I want him to finish off as a loser and disappointed.
But I think that it is pretty harsh though, because there's been
it's just
other
because he always says it in an interview,
Yeah, no, but so does Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor always says he's going to learn from it, and he hasn't learned shit. Like, there's still shit in Europe.
Callum McGregor has got kudos in the bank because he's won umpteen league titles.
Yeah, no, but in a good team, and with good managers. How many years has James Tavernier had a top quality manager? A manager of the ilk of Brendan Rodgers or a Martin O'Neill?
I wouldn't even, none, because I wouldn't even class. I wouldn't class Steven Gerrard as the.
No, Gerrard's an icon as in a footballer.
He's not a good manager though.
He commands.
He done all right at Rangers. He done okay at Rangers because
Gerrard and Ferguson
we were getting punished every week for COVID things and things like that.
I'd say Gerrard and Ferguson are pretty similar in that they instantly command respect because of what they did as a player.
It doesn't make them a good.
But what I'm saying is,
football players that were good managers as well, though.
But not many. No, do you know what I mean? You get ones like even Lampard. I think
Alex Ferguson, one of the greatest managers ever. Wasn't he a great football player?
No, and Mourinho didn't even play football. Barely.
No, that's right. Arsene Wenger, I don't think he played football, did he?
No. But what I would say is, I think we can park the Tav stuff. I think he'll be missed, but I don't think Rangers fans will realise how much until the next right back comes along, because we are not going to get a right back that gets you, 20, 30 goal contributions a year.
All the penalties that he scored, I know.
It's not that though. Even you've got you don't even have a single player. I mean, look at in fact, you compare to James Forrest, who you think is a legend, right? Right?
Well, he is.
Do you want James? Right, I'll tell you James Forrest stats.
His medal count suggests that.
Fine. Look at his game count, right? His game count is quite similar to James Tavernier, obviously, because he's been there longer, right? Right. James Forrest, how many goals has he scored for Celtic?
I don't know, but he scored in every single season he's played for Celtic.
So Tav scored in every single season he played for Rangers. But Tavernier I think James Forrest has 106 goals and 111 assists.
James Tavernier's got about 2,000 goals because he scored about 200 penalties.
Yeah, I've just mentioned it was 72 penalties.
I know.
It's such dog shit pish that you always hear. Oh, he scores his penalties. He doesn't. He has scored another 70, 80 odd goals that aren't penalties. And as I said, James Forrest is a winger whose job is to create goals.
And he does.
And a right back has 40 more assists than him at a worse team. Let's be honest, if we're being honest, over that period, at a team who aren't always on the
But the reason I would say the reason for that is the fact that there's been a lot of good players that played for Celtic over the period that James Forrest's been there. So he's not always been needed to create all the chances that you're wanting him to create.
I agree though, but see if they've been good players at Rangers.
Because you think the players that he's played with, like Scott Sinclair, who was excellent as well.
Yeah, but you having good players should have meant he should have even more assists because you should have good strikers to put them away. We have had dog shit strikers.
Well, we have had good strikers, shite strikers this season.
Yeah, but he's played with Edward and Dembele and
Stokes and Hooper.
Back with Griffiths, Hooper. You have had 20, 30 goal strikers. We've barely had any under James Tavernier's time. Maybe Waghorn in the Championship.
Right.
After that, I mean, Dessers, I would say. But what I'm saying is, I think people really disrespect Tavernier in terms of his assists because you're talking about James Forrest, and I'm saying that James Tavernier has more than 30 bit more assists than him. And I'm not picking on Forrest because Forrest's numbers are brilliant. This is why I'm saying this is an extraordinary numbers from a right back. I mean, I like Barisic, right? But he didn't get half of the assists that James Tavernier gets. And I'm
not arguing with you, but I would say that the amount of goals he's scored is down to the amount of penalties he's had as well, though. I mean, I'm not taking the free kicks away from him. He's excellent at free kicks. But the amount of penalties that you've had since he's been there.
What you think you haven't had players? Yeah, but you haven't had players that took penalties. Lee Griffiths numbers aren't. You tell me Lee Griffiths
get as many penalties as you.
You do, because if you look at the stats over the last 20 years, you do. We just had a period where we got a lot, and
it doesn't matter. 4 in one game against St Mirren.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He missed one.
It doesn't matter. He still got 4 in one game.
What I'm saying is, you cannot take away the fact that all your strikers and midfielders and whoever, what you saying that penalties don't count. Great penalties that last. No, penalties in a shootout don't count.
Oh, right.
Because if he'd scored, if we hadn't on them, he's got even more goals. So,
apart from the one this season,
in his career though, he has scored 153 goals, which makes him right now
78 of them were penalties. You said that.
Yeah, but which makes him right now the 4th highest scoring defender of all time.
Who scored more than Roberto Carlos?
Nope. He only scored 113. Koeman is the number 1.
Right.
I think Laurent Blanc has 153.
Right.
By the way, about 80 or 90 of those were penalties, but I'm sure you're going to disregard them as well. And Koeman probably had about fucking 150 penalties.
Right, but
free kicks too, to be fair. Koeman's free kicks were immense. Right. But I'm just saying, people score penalties, they still count. In fact, sometimes they're tougher. Sometimes they're tougher chances than scoring from a yard or having an open goal.
See the guys that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Who did you mention? You mentioned Laurent Blanc.
Laurent Blanc, Sergio Ramos, Ronald Koeman.
Ronald Koeman, and I also mentioned Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
James Tavernier couldn't lace their boots.
No, I'm not saying he can. But what I'm saying is that's why his numbers are so spectacular that you need to go, fair enough.
They're spectacular because he plays in a league where Rangers benefit for fucking penalties.
We don't know. We don't get any more penalties than Ronald Koeman got.
No, since VAR came in, but since pre-VAR, Rangers were
Ronald
getting penalties
Koeman
every
got
week.
100. Ronald Koeman's 260 odd goals, right? Half of them were penalties. Are you trying to tell me that because he played in those leagues he didn't get penalties in? Of course he got penalties. He got penalties because he was at the best teams and they create the most chances. That's why you get penalties.
But you've
That's
got
why
shit
Celtic.
refs as well who give penalties that shouldn't be penalties as well.
This is just a typical Celtic fan mentality. You're trying to besmirch a good player. Just admit that, by the way, that guy has done a good job. He wears blue, but
I
he's
didn't
still
say that he didn't
been
do a good
brilliant.
job.
Every comment you've made has been, oh, penalties, penalties, penalties.
I haven't taken his free kicks away from him, just his penalties. That's it.
Well, you can't, because at the end,
Anybody can score a penalty. Anybody can score a penalty.
Then see that season that Larson scored 50 odd goals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking 10 of them off him.
Well, 10 of them penalties.
Aye. Take 10 of them off him. Didn't
how
count.
many-
So he shouldn't
10
get the golden boot.
So we had 10 penalties in one season. How many of you had in one season?
Doesn't matter though. I'm just saying, and he probably missed a few because Larson liked a penalty miss as well.
Well, no, I'm not saying that he did, aye.
But what I'm saying is, you can't take the penalties away because they still count as proper goals in a normal football match. There's sometimes, I mean, how many times have you seen players score from a yard in an open goal? That's a lot easier than a penalty.
Fair enough. It doesn't make
Where
you
you
need
still
to be
need to
happy
beat
about
the
it,
keeper. But I'm just saying, I think, and it's not just you, it's everyone that's got this like, oh, Tav, oh, penalties.
Well, he's got this nickname at Celtic, Tav Pen. That's what we call
it. Ali McCoist, Rangers' greatest scorer. Well, you don't think he scored penalties?
Well. Of course he did.
Everyone does.
Because Rangers get penalties then, I know.
Boyd scored penalties, but also so did Celtic players. Celtic players have always scored penalties. George Albert scored loads of penalties for Rangers. He was still a great player.
I'm of the ilk that believes that Celtic don't get as many penalties as Rangers do.
Well, then you're a moron because you get.
Why?
Go and check the stats. Go and check the stats because you have got penalties for years and years. In fact, did you not get one this year where literally they made up a new handball rule to give you a goal against Kilmarnock, where they literally changed it on the spot and went, it doesn't quite matter if it comes off a body part.
Aye,
they completely changed the rules to make sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that one. Fair enough. But at the end of the day, that's not Celtic's fault. It's not Celtic's fault.
Well, fine. It's not Rangers' fault that Tavernier said.
I'm not saying it is. It's the fucking officials. They're shite.
But at the end of the day, he is still a top quality player.
Right. Okay. I'm not going to.
And by the way, I would love to see any of your players have 140 odd assists. Go for it. Tell me one. I mean, you might do back in the olden days with the originalised, right? But I'm on about in our lifetime.
I'm not arguing. It's just a discussion we're having. I'm not arguing about it.
But at the end of the day, I think he gets far too much criticism for the fact that he was in a shit team and the fact that so what he scored penalties to still count. You know, Chris Boyd's penalties counted. He was still the best penalty box striker I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Guess what else is in the penalty box? The penalty spot. Because sometimes you get penalties. And I just think that and how many goals have you scored like a penalty? It means just as much as any other goal. Last minute penalties, whatever, they still count. And by the way, you still need to have the balls to go up and hit that. And like I said, Ian Archer scored a penalty this year. He still had to have the balls to go up and put it in the net. If he misses that, no one counts the penalty. But he still scored them. And by the way, Tavernier could have 200 goals if he could fucking score them all. but he missed them. He's missed a good portion, I know. But all I'm saying is, I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Well, no, I'm not, as I said, I'm not arguing with you about it. I'm just saying that, bringing the debate that he wouldn't have had as many goals if it hadn't been for...
No one would though.
Penalty. Well, I know, but...
It's
the strangest situation ever where you've got a right back who has got all the goals because he takes penalty kicks.
Yeah, but because he's the best striker of a football at our team.
That's straight, and he's a fucking right back. He's not even a striker, which is really strange. Weird.
I mean, Dennis Irwin used to hit penalties for Man United.
And he was a fullback. That's right. Aye.
And he was brilliant at them. I mean, I can't remember him really missing one.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Hart, brilliant player, brilliant penalty taker for Leeds.
I just find it weird that fullbacks take penalties. To me, that means that if you've got a fullback taking a penalty, it means that you've got shit strikers who can't hit a penalty.
I don't know, mate. You can't say that. That Leeds team had shit strikers. They had Mark Viduka, Alan Smith. But at the end of the day, Ian Hart stroked the ball better. That Man United team had Cantona and Cole and York. Yeah, but that guy struck the ball better.
Even Brian McGregor could take a penalty.
And by the way, it's not even just about striking the ball well. It's about bottle. Maybe maybe strikers think too much, whereas defenders just go, I'm putting my fucking foot through it. And as I'm saying, the guy deserves a bit more respect.
Right, well,
and by the way, I
fair
think
enough.
he'll get it. In 5 years, I think he'll get loads more respect.
Do you know
I think
why that?
once he's gone,
People will
people
realise
go,
how good he was, obviously, when he's not there.
That's what you always do.
That's what happens. That's
Anyway,
happened to Celtic,
let's talk about Celtic handing out contracts like Smarties. So let's quickly go through them. Deserved or not deserved? 1 year
Right.
Forrest, I think deserved.
Deserved, yes, 100%.
1 year McCowan extension, I would say probably not deserved, but understandable because of the whole Scottish quota. Just like Suter got one at Rangers, Scottish quota, it helps you in Europe. Does he deserve one because of his footballing ability or how he's played? Probably not. But
no, but it's
at the same time,
you're right. It's to do with the
as a
Scottish
club,
quota.
I understand it.
Aye.
Liam Scales, this is a debatable one. To give him a 3-year extension
No
with
chance.
an option of a 4th year,
No,
so
no
he could
chance.
get a contract to 2031. What he's playing at?
I agree
That's
with
just
you.
not a guy you should be looking to move on because
No,
he's not good enough.
I think personally we should be moving on from him, getting rid of him, and
Yeah.
bringing in somebody of a better quality.
Well, it's the same with Suter was, but I understood it with Suter getting a 1-year deal because I thought, okay, he's Scottish, so he ticks the box. But Liam Scales doesn't do that.
Because you think to yourself,
He's not a homegrown.
Is it a 3-year contract they've given him?
3-year extension with an option of a 4th year.
3-year contract. You think to yourself, are they going to bring somebody else with him as an understudy behind him? Because you're like that thinking, well, me personally, right? See if Carter Vickers is fit, right? If Carter Vickers had been fit for the majority of this season, my 2 centre halves would have been Carter Vickers and Trusty.
Yeah, but Trusty's not been any better than Scales this year, though.
I still think he's better than Scales.
No, I think he is better, but he's not been better this year.
No, but he's a better quality of player than Scales is overall.
I agree, but Scales does work hard, and I think he comes into the anti-Ralston club. He gives you everything. But I do think the thing with Scales is you should all. I mean, like Ralston though, you have improved. That's why he's a third choice right back.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've bought better ones, and Johnson, you've brought in Araujo, Donovan's coming through. But he's still Mr. Reliable and good to have. So if Scales was your third or fourth choice centre back, it's probably not a problem. And just like Suter at Rangers, I'm sure you'll agree. Mm-hmm. If he's a third or fourth choice, no one's got a problem with that. But it's when they're starting, you go, what?
But what I don't get, Murray, is the fact that, as we discussed this off air before we came on, now they've give him a 3-year contract with the option of a 4th. They've gave McCowan a new contract. Obviously, I'm glad they've gave James Forrest a new contract, saying he deserved it because he's a legend and he's been there as long as he's been there. Now, there's no manager in there. No. So what if this new manager comes in and goes, I don't want Luke McCowan, I don't want Liam Scales?
Then you're either going to need to sell them or you're going to have unhappy players.
I know.
And you wait till that manager makes a sack.
There's no guarantee that if the new manager comes in and he does well, that he plays these guys.
I mean, I think Forrest is different because Forrest is a backup winger who is only getting a 1-year deal. So if the new manager doesn't like him, he'll just release him at the end of next year. You can't do that with McCowan or Scales. You've got 2, 3, 4, fucking 5 years.
I know, but the likes of the new manager when he comes in, like if he comes in and he doesn't, he might buy his own players, and he might not play these boys. Likes of Scales, he might bring in another centre half, and Scales might not get a game.
Yeah, and I don't think Scales comes into the category of the other two because the other two are homegrown and Celtic trained who will meet a quota for Europe. So they're always going to be in. They're always going to be in. They're always going to be in European squads. Whereas if they come in and they don't like Scales, they might not get a game in any competition.
That's right.
And you'll need to sell them. But you know what? I think it's strange that a team without a manager is handing out contracts. I do. Forrest, I'll give a pass to because it's a 1-year deal.
I agree.
But I do think it's strange.
And I've also seen this week that we've been linked to players as well. We've been
linked to Devlin.
We've also been linked to the Motherwell goalkeeper.
Ward. Yep.
Aye, Ward. Yep.
Well, hopefully he has a clanger this weekend.
But you're thinking to yourself, we're linked with these players. How can we be linked with players when we've not even got them? Unless they know who the manager's going to be, and
but you should always still
behind the scenes.
You should always still be scouting players. You should always go into like Chaiwa. I think you've been scouting him for 2 years.
Aye, and then as we said about Martin O'Neill, if he's got a say in it, then I'm thinking, will Martin O'Neill be moving up the stairs after the season finishes?
I hope
Possibility.
so. I hope he does, and I hope he's
Why?
employed. Because if he gets employed up the stairs, it means that he's probably going to get a yes man manager. So somebody like Neil Lennon, Scott Brown, or Sean Maloney.
Neil Lennon won't be back at Celtic.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, Martin O'Neill moving upstairs increases that likelihood.
No, I know why you would say that, but no necessarily. I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, I think it's more chance of it than if you bring in a director of football who's Swedish, right? He's not going to employ Neil Lennon, right?
So
but
who's the director of football that's Swedish that you know about?
I just made it up. I just made up. Like, if anyone comes in with no Celtic background, whereas are you not telling me the guy that brought Lennon to Celtic and had him at Leicester wouldn't think I love that guy, so I'd like him to be the manager if he gets that sort of power, which I don't know they will.
Twice,
but he has been successful twice. He's also ended unsuccessfully.
But he ended up knackering the 10 in a row bid.
Yeah, but that wasn't just on him. That was on maybe the board
not getting rid.
Yeah, but not getting rid of players who didn't want to be there. Because let's be honest, players like Christie and Edwards had chucked it. So how difficult must it be for a manager to have players who have chucked it? And I'll give you a similar scenario. I felt Rangers were in the exact same scenario when Kent and Morelos were in. Like the last couple of years, they chucked it because they wanted big moves, they didn't get them, and they threw the toys at the pram, and that probably cost Rangers a title in Ange's first season. Because if Rangers, let's be honest, we had such a lead that we shouldn't have thrown it away, and we only really threw it away because players weren't trying.
And that, and by the way, had it sewn up. Is that what you think?
I think so, and I think they became arrogant and complacent. By the way, everything since the January, Ange's team deserved everything. But up until the January, Rangers should have been home and host. But Celtic they went on a momentum. It was like trying to stop a runaway train. You couldn't do it at the end. And that wasn't on, the players tried at that point. But once you chuck it in over that Christmas period, that's where you lose it.
I loved the football under Ange. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, you haven't really played good football since.
The only downside to Ange's tenure was Europe. That was it. I mean, apart from maybe that Europa League when we were in it.
What though? It was entertaining though, and even though you're losing games 4-3, it was still entertaining.
I mean, I thought the game against Real Madrid, I know we get beat 3-0. We held them to 0. We held them to 0-0 for about 60 minutes, which was really good.
I would rather my team lost 4-3 by playing good football than lost 1-0 not trying.
By defending basically all night.
I don't mind a bit of defending if you've got the players to do it, and I felt that Ange felt he didn't have the players to do it. Whereas Walter Smith's team used to play defensive football in Europe. Well, do you not know why?
Ange wasn't a defensive manager.
No, I know, but I also think that's why. But then he did go and win the Europa League.
By
the way, that wasn't all attacking, free-flowing football.
No, that wasn't.
They won the worst Europa League final of all time.
It was pretty shit.
It was so bad. I mean, I thought the one that Rangers won each game wasn't the greatest thrown football, but God, there was 20 more chances than there was in that Tottenham Man U one. And even the Man U Villarreal game, I remember there was one there that went to penalties, and all the shots on target in that match were penalties in the penalty shootout. There was no shots on target in the game. It was just dog shit. But no, I think.
What were you going to say about Walter Smith?
Well, what I just said, he was able to be pragmatic in Europe and also attacking in Scotland, but I think he had the best players, and he had different players to do that. I always felt that Ange had players just to do the attacking stuff. He couldn't teach those same players how to, for instance, in your attacking teams, to me, I was watching that Celtic team and going yeah, brilliant going forward, Jota, Abada, but take out one of those wingers, bring in another midfielder, sit them in front, and you might get more of a feel in the games rather than try to go you score, we score type thing.
It's like you mentioned Walter Smith there. It's like Stevie Clark. I mean, if Stevie Clark was a Celtic manager, I think he'd be good for European football because he would be able to defend well. I'm not so sure about his tactics in the Premier League. I don't want him to defend in Scotland, but in Europe,
but then his Kilmarnock team were better than they get credit for, though.
Oh, they were, right?
because like
they've actually not been as good. I don't think they've been as good since he left.
Well, no, they've had wee bits, wee moments, but I thought McInnes had them playing quite well one season.
Aye, all right, maybe all right. Aye.
Not to the same levels, but like they were comfortably top half. Whereas Steve Clark had them third and comfortable, whereas they've not been third in a long time. But no, I think. Aye.
So sorry, speaking of Derek McInnes, before you move on there, I was listening to the phone in the other night, the Super Scoreboard, and there was a guy came on the phone in and mentioned that Derek McInnes for the Celtic job, and I was like, no chance. Did you hear it?
No, but
No,
he wouldn't take that job.
No, I know that. No chance. No.
So, I think his time's up with Rangers as well, to be honest.
I don't think he'll be the Rangers manager in the future.
I don't think Rangers would go back. I think we are now looking at a more modern style, younger manager. I think his time's passed.
I think if he leaves Hearts, he either goes down to a smaller club in Scotland or he goes down to England again.
I think he goes to Scotland.
The Scotland manager's job? Do you think he's the next Scotland manager?
Well, I've always felt it would be David Moyes, but he seems to be getting a new lease of life in his old age at Everton.
I would prefer it to be David Moyes, if I'm honest.
So would I, but I'm just saying that it depends, obviously, with Clark chucking it, obviously.
Do you think Clark will chuck it after World Cup?
I think he will, aye. I don't think he'll have a choice if we fail.
Do you think he'll go to Celtic?
I don't know that you will wait about for him. But then Scotland might not be in it that one.
But that's what I was thinking. We're normally only in it. Scotland are normally only in it for 3 games.
Even still, that still takes you into July, pretty much.
Right. Okay. Maybe they won't then. Maybe they won't. So, no, that would be a bad thing. I'm not saying I don't want them, but at the same time, I'd want them to go for somebody that would be in and ready for qualify. I want players in.
Time will tell. I mean, honestly, right now, I could see Martin O'Neill getting it for another year. I could.
Nah, he wouldn't take it. He's not going to take it.
Would anything surprise you after this season?
No, really, but he did turn around and say that he wants to go back down to the whatever cafe that was and get a coffee again. Aye.
Enjoying his life on Talk Sport with talking shite with Jim White.
Aye, and the other Muppet.
Simon Jordan.
No, him, the other again, Cundy. I can't go him.
Oh, I can't. Aye. Actually, sometimes I feel for Jamie O'Hara, which I'd never think I'd say.
Don't like Jamie O'Hara either.
Yeah, no, but I do feel for him because Cundy's just been such a knob recently. It's like,
just because he's the whole arrogance with the Paul John Dykes interview with the whole Stockport thing.
I know. Let's quickly go on to McGregor's comments at the board. What did you think? Did you think? All I'm going to say is, it felt like he read the same speech that Brendan Rodgers put out at the start of the season.
It was a bit similar.
About if
having
you
the
don't
same
match my ambition,
I'm away basically.
And by the way, I don't think he quite meant it that way, but
no.
But by the way,
he came out and said, "Oh, the club's in my DNA. I've been here since I was 8 or 9, whatever it was." And I'm thinking, do you know what, Callum? I thought, do you know what, Callum? I'll believe that if you're still here next season. But see, if you leave and go to Saudi, then you're obviously not in it for the heart. Your heart's not in it for
I've got that.
You're in it for the money if you're going to go.
I've never thought he would leave, but I now think he will.
I wouldn't be surprised if he left. If I'm totally honest.
And I don't think it matters whether he's win the league or don't. I think he looks like a guy who's made his mind up about whatever he's doing.
But do you think he's done a Steven Gerrard and said, "Do I look happy?" And basically he'll go then. Do you remember when he said that and he left the following week or whatever it was? Yeah. Steven Gerrard.
Yeah. But then he wasn't. But he obviously wasn't happy because he'd been promised things by a board when he won the league. At that point, he'd been promised better players. We didn't get better players, and then and he shouldn't have said that. But we all make comments, don't you? Like you all come out and say they'll look happy. He was obviously happy at that moment when he won a game of football. But
I'm using that as an example, obviously, to put.
But yeah, I think
with McGregor.
For the first time, I can now see him leaving.
I hope he doesn't.
By the way,
I want to see him stay for the rest of his career itself.
Would you?
I like him. I like McGregor.
Would you be massively surprised if McGregor and Tavernier ended up at old Brendan Rodgers' team?
No.
Because that wouldn't surprise me at all.
No.
Because I think he would love players who, technically are probably good in that league. Because let's be honest, you've got superstars in that league, right? But a lot of the league's dog shit. A lot of the league are just, Arab players and they're not great.
I know. The only reason they're there is for the money. It's a shit league, but they give good money. They obviously pay good money.
I don't think I could blame Tav at his point in his career for going and getting a bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll move on to we'll briefly talk on the Union Bears thing, not getting in, because we do need to do our preview and predictions.
Yep.
But to me, I don't necessarily disagree with Celtic's stance of trying to make sure that there's no trouble, right?
Safety.
I agree with that. But I don't think you can allow in the Green Brigade back in and then say you're not allowing Union Bears in, because let's be honest, both of them caused the problem at Ibrox. And see if Celtic had said, right, okay, this game we don't want Union Bears and we don't want the Green Brigade, I don't think anyone would have bat an eyelid. They just went, fair enough, they both deserve to be punished.
Yeah.
I don't think you can punish one without the other. And I think Celtic probably, although that's a very difficult thing for both these clubs to do, I think they need to trust Rangers to deal with the element of the Union Bears that need to be dealt with.
But
that's a
what I'll
difficult
say,
thing.
what I'll say to that is, I don't think Rangers have dealt with it, and that's why
Well,
Celtic are
they
doing
have,
what they're doing.
but they have banned people, so
Right.
you need to trust them to have banned the culprits. And let's be honest, I think it should be like, see, when you go away in Europe, right? Because I've done this, Rangers will take your name, your address, your season ticket number, and they will give that to the opposition club. So they know that if you
know where you're
cause
sitting in the
trouble,
stadium, then
they know where you're sitting, who you are, where you're from, so that they can say, well, those list of people, even if you just get kind of caught up in some random trouble, right? They can then go, right, okay, well, none of them get a ticket for the next game.
What if the
And that's
trouble
maybe
wasn't your fault?
I know, but
if you're caught up in it and it's not your
I know
fault, kind of thing.
but then would you not argue that not every Union Bear jumped onto the pitch? It was just the wee proper Neddy element.
No, but I mean, did the Union Bears wear these stupid masks?
No, not all of them.
Well,
Some of them do.
they were all wearing gimp masks on the
Some of them
pitch.
do,
So.
but do every Green Brigade member, do they all have everything to say with the banners that people disagree with? No, they don't. No. They're just passionate fans.
As I've told you, I'm not 100% on everything the Green Brigade do, but what I will say is they bring colour, energy, and an atmosphere to the game that nobody else does.
I think Celtic for this game, I mean, maybe they could have made a decision in the summer to do it next season, but in terms of sport and fairness, Celtic have been into Ibrox twice with fans. Rangers should be into Celtic Park twice.
So I know the statement came out, right, but is this an absolute definite?
No,
There's
no,
not going to be any Rangers fans at the game.
No, Rangers went to the SPL board and said, deal with it.
So you think that Rangers fans will be in at this game then?
Yes,
they will get in?
Yes, they do,
yeah. Right.
Because I don't think it'd be fair for them not to. Whether Union Bears get in, I don't know.
Well, I'll agree with you there. I mean, maybe you don't let the Union Bears in, but you'd maybe let average Joe in, you know?
Yeah, but I think it's very difficult to tar. And let's be honest, Celtic's Green Brigade, right, were meant to be banned for away games, and they went to every away game during that ban. They went to Ibrox, caused problems. They didn't get tickets, but they still went.
See, the thing is, right, well, I'm going to let you into a wee secret here, right?
And some Rangers fans will still find a way.
Although they were banned from Celtic Park, I haven't. I mean, I'm not going to say who I heard this for, obviously, because I'm no. But I have it in good authority that there was a lot of Green Brigade fans within Celtic Park at different sections of the ground. At the games, there would have been, obviously, but they're obviously not in their own section, but they would have been scattered about.
And let's be honest, if the Union Bears get banned from Celtic Park for this game, you don't think that they're still going to go and take the tickets off the other people who get the tickets? Of course they will.
Possibility, that's not out with the realms of possibility.
I think until we know more, I think we'll just put a pin in that one. And if it becomes a bigger issue, like there is no fans, then we can discuss it then.
Aye.
But let's look at the weekend. We'll start with the bottom six.
Yep.
Right. So let's go with Aberdeen Kilmarnock. Tricky one. Obviously, Kilmarnock have been a bit shit away from home. Aberdeen did pick up a win in the last game.
Yep.
I'd probably make Aberdeen favourites, but I don't think they'll win.
I do.
I think it's going to be a draw just because I'll tell you something that I read the other day. It's something ridiculous, right? About in the bottom six, there is something like 60% of the matches are draws.
All right.
At the end of the season.
That's some start up.
And I then went, oh, do you know what? That kind of makes sense because everyone's sort of playing not to lose.
Well, they don't want relegated, basically. They don't want to in the playoff position either.
Whereas when you're going for Europe and titles, you're playing to win. And I can now understand. So I'm going to predict a draw in that one. I'm not going my draw in all my bottom six, but I'm going my draw in that one just because I know it looked like Aberdeen turned the corner, right? But that game changed on that red card. I don't know how good they are.
It did.
You know, they got a red card and a penalty after 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Stephen Robinson's got a tune out of them yet. I've not seen the evidence, and that's why I'm going. If this is a tight game, which I think it will be, I'll probably back Kilmarnock to stay in it because I do think they've got more goals in their team than Aberdeen do. So I'm going to go one each, but only because unless there's a red card or something, or unless they have turned the corner, Aberdeen, I just think a draws. And I'm going on it. I just think that Kelly, I don't know if they'll go down. Well, I'm not even sure that whoever finishes 11th will go down, but I think they're most likely to finish 11th.
Set up anyway.
But no, I don't know one does. But yeah, I'm going to go one each. What you going with?
I'm going with an Aberdeen victory, 2-1.
Okay. Let's go St Mirren Livingston because Livingston still technically aren't down. But if they lose, they're down. If they draw, they can technically still be okay. And St Mirren, how much will that extra time?
I was thinking
really
that
deflated them, and the two goalkeepers been injured.
Aye, that there, yep.
You know
they've got an 18-year-old in goals at 17.
I think they've got somebody else on loan from St Johnstone.
What, an emergency loan?
Aye.
Right.
I think I'm going to go one each, just because Livy have drawn a lot of games recently, and I still think St Mirren won't lose at home. But I do think that the goalkeeper situation, and yeah, I'm going to go one each.
Right.
1 each in a row for me.
I'm just wondering. You mentioned the goalkeeper situation, obviously, and I didn't realise they'd brought in a guy on loan for St Johnstone. Is it St Johnstone?
Yeah.
Do you know the boy's name?
I'll tell you now, St Johnstone.
Because he can't be like a first choice at St John's. Maybe his third choice or something like that. He won't be even second choice. I wouldn't imagine so. But even at that, I think Livingston might sneak a victory.
I just think secret's at St Mirren. I'm kind of.
I know what you mean.
I think it's. I don't even know what it is. It's not coming up, but
I think it might. Livingston might get a victory. They might shade it. Maybe 2-1 again. I'll say 2-1 because I think St Mirren will score. But it's after last week's exploits in the cup with the extra time and everything, and you see the goalkeeper getting injured, and this is a different goalkeeper they've got that's no been part of the squad. So,
I'm just checking St Mirren news goalkeeper.
So it's a possibility Livingston could get a wee result
Here
there.
we go. St Mirren signed goalkeeper St Johnstone Ross Sinclair.
Right.
St Johnstone.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go one each. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Right. Although this game's on Sunday, we'll do it first because it's in the bottom half. Dundee Derby. How do you see this one going? It's is it? It's at Tannadice, isn't it?
I see Dundee United winning that one.
I just wonder though, with that Fata being out for the season, how much that'll affect that'll have.
But it is at home. They've got the home advantage as well.
I know, but they also.
I know Dundee have been playing well though. They have been.
Yeah, do you know? I can't believe I'm going for 3 draws. I'm going 2
each.
Aye.
I'm going. I'll go 1-0 Dundee United.
I'll go 2 each. Right, we'll skip back to Saturday and we'll go Celtic Falkirk. Which, by the way, we have no idea whether the Celtic from extra time will turn up, or the Celtic from the first half, or the Celtic from the second half, or some other Celtic.
Me, preferably, I would.
Well, we know what you want.
The extra time Celtic.
What do you think, though?
I'm hoping it's extra time Celtic because I'm hoping that what happened last week is a spark to power them on now. I really do. I mean, I've been saying that for months.
I've seen it all season.
But I know. But I'm just hoping that is. It's going to turn at some point, and I'm hoping that is it.
I don't think it turns this year. I said that all along. I don't see Celtic winning games by more than not league ones.
I still think so. I still think we'll win tomorrow.
I think you'll win as well, but I think it'll be like 2-1 or 3-1. I think it'll be tight because I don't think he's that good, and that's the thing.
As you know, I'll be going to the game, so I'm hoping that it's a comfortable victory for Celtic, if there is such a thing. I'm hoping 2 or 3-0, but I think Falkirk will score, so I'll go 3-1 Celtic.
I'm going to go 2-1. Just because I think it'll be tight and nervy and edgy. Right, on to Sunday. Let's go with Rangers Motherwell, because again, I think this will be tight. I mean, all the games between Rangers and Motherwell have been 1-1, 1-0, 1-1. Do we see a what? But by the way, I don't think this will be. I think it'll be tight, right? I don't think it'll be low scoring though.
Right.
I can see 6 goals. I think Rangers. I think Rangers will win 4-2, because I just think Motherwell are going to try and take the chances, right, that they didn't take at Tynecastle, right? They probably should have scored 2 or 3, right? I think we can all agree that, right? And Motherwell probably should have scored more than 1 goal in previous games against us, but so should Rangers. We've created a lot of chances against them too, and I think that this could just be a bit of a basketball match, and I can see it being one of those games that Rangers edge, but only because of home advantage.
All right, I'm going to go.
So I'm going to go 4-2. Well, in my head I said 3-2, but I've pushed it to 4-2.
Right. Well, I'm going to go different to you. I
of course, you're going to go for a draw, because you always go for Rangers to drop points.
Yep.
I'm the only one that's honest here. I actually predict Celtic to win from time to time.
No, I'm not saying that
Rangers
you
never do. You always go with your heart, not your head.
Well, put it this way,
I think Rangers are going to drop points in this split, right? But it's probably going to be against Hearts or Celtic.
Well, what I'm going to say is I think Rangers will win, but I would like it to be a draw. Is that all right?
Yeah, I want Celtic to lose 4-0, but it ain't going to happen.
I think they'll win, but I'm going to stick my neck out and go, it'll be 1-1. It'll finish 1 each.
I just think there's going to be goals.
Or 2 each. It'll be a score draw, but it could be 1 each or 2 each.
I just see lots of goals, and I think if Rangers do get goals, I think they'll get a few. Because I'm saying
that in the hope that there is some sort of slip up, you know.
But they are playing with quite good on the front foot at the moment. You've seen that against Falkirk, against Aberdeen, against Dundee United. They've got goals in them, and let's
they probably will win.
And I just think it's going to be one of those mental games where I don't think Rangers fans are going to get a single minute of not watching through your fingers.
Well, it's one of the weird ones where you're obviously at home and we're at home. So
because I genuinely think, I still say this, Motherwell are the best team we'll play in the run-in. And by the way, they're probably the best team you'll play as well. I don't think Rangers. I think there'll be harder games because the nerves, the tension at Parkhead and the tension at Tynecastle. But in terms of a football team, they're the best football team in the top 6.
They are the footballing wise. They play good football.
I mean, they will keep the ball off us more than Hearts will. I can guarantee you next week that Hearts Rangers game will just be like a fight. It'll be a scrappy, it'll be horrible, and it'll probably be decided by a set piece. Whereas this game on Sunday, I think will be decided by who scores more and real quality. Because I think Motherwell will allow you to play football as well. And they do piss us around the back, and Rangers will probably catch them on one of those. So honestly, I think I just see goals. I just see goals, and I'm going to say no. In fact, I'll go back to my original one. I'm going to go 3-2. Just because
I'll go 2-2.
It'll be nervy. Right, Desmond. Now we've got the Edinburgh Derby at Easter Road. I'm probably going to go a wee bit different from what I just said will happen at Ibrox.
Are you going with your heart or your head in this one?
No, I'm going with my head. I think this is going to be 0-0.
Oh, do you?
Because if you look at the Edinburgh Derbies this year, right, the first one, 1-0, last minute winner.
They've been pretty tight.
Right, third one, 1-0, last minute winner. The one at Easter Road was a wee bit different because Hibs went in a 3-0 lead, and then Hearts came back and made it 3-2.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
But I think I said this in a previous pod. I don't think there's been a season in the last 8-9 years where there hasn't been a draw.
I don't know how you can get a 3-0 lead and throw it away. I just don't understand that.
It can happen. You obviously not watched all the Rangers.
No.
No, I do think that I just think this is going to be cagey, and because I think Hibs players have been nervous too because they want to stop Hearts
winning the league, obviously.
Aye. And I just think the game is going to lack all sorts of quality, and I'm going 0-0.
Right.
I actually think it's going to be a bore fest, but it will still be horribly tension, and there'll be chances, obviously, but nobody will take them.
I'm going for Hibs to sneak it 2-1.
Okay. Oh, you're going for more of an entertainment one than me, but
I'm hoping for that as well, though. Obviously.
So it should be interesting. And then obviously that puts us with 4 games left after this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think next week it's all in Edinburgh, isn't it? Because you're at Easter Road.
Aye, usually at Tynecastle on the Monday.
So Monday.
Monday at half 5. Aye.
And by the way, I think we've got one of the games on a Friday next week, so we'll maybe need to predict that on Monday.
Right, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure Aberdeen Livingston is on Friday.
Right.
I just remember it because it's the kid's birthday on the 2nd, right. And I'm going to pick them up on the Friday, and I was like, oh, there's a game on. So, Livingston Aberdeen Friday, 7:45. The Saturday games are Dundee St Mirren, Kelly Dundee United, Falkirk Motherwell. Sunday is Hibs Celtic, Monday Hearts Rangers.
Aye, well, we can do our predictions for all that.
I know, and we'll be doing the pod not long after the final whistle, so I'm going to be pure raging or pure elated.
That's right.
I mean, that game will finish about 7:20 probably.
Aye. Hopefully you're pure raging.
Yeah, you might be wanting us to win.
Well,
if we lost to Motherwell this week, for instance, and Hearts won, you'd probably want a Rangers win next week. So,
well, we'll wait and see what happens. I'll not say that until I know what the standings are at that point.
I mean, because there could be a point this season when I want Celtic to win a game. Who knows?
It's going to be really strange if we're wanting each other to win. You know, that's mental. That's never happened before.
We'll find out in the last day of the season if we need a win and we need you to win. Then that could be a weird one. Yeah. Cheering a Celtic goal. Oh, God. But anyway, we'll leave it there and we'll be back on Monday.
Yep.
Cool, right. Okay. I'll see you later. Have a good weekend.
Right, you too.
Except during the hours of your football match.
Yep. Except you as well with your football on Sunday. Right.
Right, catch you.
Right, see you later. Bye-bye.
Right.